Hello and welcome to this Excel tip. So in this Excel tip, we're going to learn how to use our knowledge of references to do some calculations. So we're going to start off with this simple Excel sheet here. And let's pretend we measured some object and it went some distance traveled, and we're going to have that in feet. We were able to measure that in feet. And we're also able to measure the time that was elapsed when that object was traveling in hours. So we have these two pieces of information. So you can think about that in row 5 and 6. These might have been different objects we measured at different times. And same thing with row 7, 8, 9, and 10. So now let's say we really want to get the speed in miles per hour. So first off, we need to convert the feet into miles, and that's what this column's here for. And then we're going to need to take that miles and divide by hours to get miles per hour. So how do we do this in Excel? Well, first let's get miles. So to get miles, we need to divide feet by the unit conversion. And again, we always want to put our conversion factors at the top of our sheet. So we go ahead and divide A5, which is the distance traveled in feet, divided by D2, which is their unit conversion factor. And then we go ahead and hit enter, and that gives us our distance traveled in miles. Now, this is great, but I don't want to type this in for every single one. I want Excel to do this for me, and this is actually one of the really powerful things about Excel. So really what we do is we drag this down, and it'll repeat that calculation for each row. Now I'm going to drag it down, and wait a second, something's going on here. So I knew that this mistake would happen, but this is a very, very common mistake to make. So let's look at, first off, I like the little color-coded things. This calculation is correct. But what happens when I drag down, if you remember from your references, when I drag down, it drags everything in my calculation down because these are relative references. So here it drags the 10,000 to 20,000, or row 5 to row 6, and that's what I want. But it also drags down this, and we actually don't want this to change. We don't want our conversion factor to drag down with it. So what we want to do is, I just hit escape to get out of that cell. We want to go back to this first cell and make that D2 an absolute reference. So that way it won't change no matter where I drag it. So how I can do that in a couple different ways. I can write two $signs where I want to put them here, like that. Or let's get rid of those. Or the easier way is just to hit F4. So F4 is a shortcut key for that. Now, that's not going to change the ones below it yet. That's going to change the ones below it once I drag this down and overwrite them. Good, so now this is the distance traveled in miles. So now the next step is I want the speed in miles per hour. So miles per hour, you just take miles divided by hours and hit enter. So there's the speed in miles per hour for the first one. And now this time, I'm going to just drag down. Now, we can drag down and it works this time because I want these two to change every single time I drag down. Basically, when I drag one cell down, I want this blue box to be around here, and I want this red box to be around here. And let's make sure that that's happening. It is. So now we have our speed in miles per hour. And this is not only useful for things like this, but this is very useful in all sorts of applications, and is one of the foremost skills to learn in Excel. Thank you for watching.